Alright.
Here come the troops.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. So great to see everybody. This is super exciting. We've got a lot of fun things we're going to be doing and chatting about and singing about today. So glad so many folks could make it into the room today. Welcome to today's daily antidote of song. We are live every day at noon Eastern Time, and today is our 1,606th day of consecutive singing, which is pretty cool. And the Pete Seeger puppet is actually holding it up for us. Thank you for the cue card there, Pete. And Carolyn from Boise. So I want to thank everybody so much for being here. We're going to say hello to everybody out there on the Facebook live stream. Hi there, gang. And everybody out there on the YouTube live stream. Glad you guys are with us today, whether it's noon your time or any other time. We are really glad you're here. We are super glad to have in the room with us today as we are singing all week long about music, memory, and mental health. We are really excited to have in the room with us Peter Mary Alice Amidon, who are coming in from Brattleboro, Vermont, and they have been in some form or another, either as host or song leaders or in our big group birthday parties. They've been in this room 126 times. So, okay, that's pretty crazy, right? Yeah. Okay. And now they're gonna tell me how much I owe them. Oh dear. Yeah. So thank you so much, gang. They do so much for this program. Peter Mary Alice, we would never ever to be able to be here in the same capacity without all of your love and support. Let's all please welcome Meredith, who is coming in from Greenfield, who is our brand new tech person for the first time today. Thank you, Meredith, for joining us today. Meredith is actually a friend of our other tech person, Bryn's. So we're welcoming Meredith. She is going to be with us, I think, most weekdays. So everybody please wave to Meredith. Thank you, Meredith. We want to say hello to everybody else. Pauline coming in from Newcastle, UK. Thanks for being here today. Arlene in Berkeley, California. Deli coming in from Maryland. I see a whole bunch of curlies coming in from Vermont. Hi to Susan in Cincinnati, Susan in Tacoma Park, Tom coming in from Maryland. And let's all pause. Tom is on the board of Carpe Diem Arts. Let's all pause and give a huge shout out to Carpe Diem Arts for keeping this program going day after day after day after day after day. Athena coming in from Brooklyn, New York. Thank you for being here. Carolyn in Boise with a Pete Seeger doll. Cricket in Maryland. Sheila in Florida. Mabel and Bears or Bear in Massachusetts. Bears in Massachusetts. Deborah in Kentucky. Aloysius and Diane coming in from Mass. Nice to see both of you. Gary in Massachusetts. Bob coming in from Albany, New York. Looks nice and tented where you are. Bonnie in Boise, Idaho. Hello, Devik. Maybe new to us today. We're glad you're here. Everybody please wave to Devik. Hi, Devik. Caroline in DC. Nice to have you with us today. Pat, maybe also, no, I recognize Pat. You've been here before. Nice to see you, Pat. Luda in Victoria, British Columbia. Nancy's Cow in Washington State. Jamie in Victoria, Dan in Vienna, Virginia, Anne, maybe new to us today. Everybody wave to Anne. Doo-doo-doo. Annette in California, Jim, maybe new to us today. Everybody wave to Jim. Nick, maybe new to us today. Everybody wave to Nick. And maybe also Rachel, nice to see you. Marcy, nice to see you. We've got a lot of new folks today. Fred and Patrice. Oh, I recognize Fred. Hi, Fred. Fred, I think, is part of Noel Sing We Clear. Do I have that right? And has sung in this room with us before as part of Noel and with Andy and with Peter. I think he's also Brattleborian. Louise coming in from Devon, UK. Who's that? Patrice, I think, coming in from Brattleboro. Nice to see you. Maybe also new to us. Susan, maybe also new to us. Wait, that's funny. We have a second Susan Miller in the room. All right. This is Susan Miller from one place, and this is Susan Miller from Seattle. Benet in Berkeley, California. Linda on Orcas Island. Dory and Ollie in Rhode Island. Julie in Ontario. Folks who are off video today, Bob in Mass, maybe a new Lynn, Linda, Dory, I said Dory, Lynn in Connecticut, Patricia coming in from Charlottesville, everything is moving, Kat in Vermont, George, maybe new to us today, Harriet coming in from Chicago, Illinois, and Jan also just popped in the room. Hi, Jan, everybody wave to Jan, also I think new to us today. Okay, now let's, oh wait, there was a page 3. Harriet, did I say Harriet? Loriana, Kachina, and Courtney. Dick and Kathy are here from Victoria, British Columbia, regular hosts and song leaders. Margaret, I think new. Hindi in Toronto, glad to have you back. Hoda in British Columbia, Elizabeth in California. I'm getting dizzy. And I think now we'll just take a deep breath. Hello to Patrice, I hope I said hi to you. Fran is back in the room. Fran was an original Daily Antidoter way back in the very, very beginning on days 1, 2, 3, and onward. Everybody take a deep breath. That was really great. So I'm super excited to be singing with Peter Mary Alice Amidon. I want to shout out before we begin a ton of great work that AARP is doing right now on music and memory, music and brain health, music and dementia. And we have a whole slew of links in the chat that we hope you will check out. And we want to all thank AARP for this great work. It is improving our lives. Many of us in this room are card-carrying members. Yeah, everybody's pretending to look young now. Like, no, not me. I'm not. And I want to shout out in particular their Power of Music link, which expires at the end of this week. So we hope you will check that out before the week closes. And now we're going to take one more deep breath. Peter and Mary Alice Amidon, do you want to open up and say hi to everybody?
Hello.
Hello. Good
Everybody.
to see everybody.
Wow, we're so happy to be here. This is just warms my heart. And so we are going to sing a song. We're going to start right off with our first song, which is called Time Has Made a Change. Everybody say that. Time has made a change. It's by Harkins Freye. And we learned this from Richard Moss. And when we were working with him on our honeymoon in 1978 at Pinewoods Folk Music Week, 46 years ago, he sang the song a bunch of times. And he said he used to sing it with his brothers in their quartet. And he sang the song so much that he thought he'd written it. He said, I wrote this song, but he didn't. It was written by Harkins Freye. But I think he earned that right in a way. But it's also interesting to know, just in terms of our theme, that we found out later that Richard Moss was in the early stages of Alzheimer's at that point. And like other singers we've known who've headed toward dementia a bit in the end of their careers, his singing was untouched. It was beautiful and it was powerful. He'd drift off when he was talking a bit, but his singing was extraordinary.
True.
So the chorus goes like this.
Time has made a change in the old home place.
Your turn. Time has made a change in the old home place.
Sounds great. Time has made a change in each smiling face.
Time has made a change in each smiling face.
And I know my friends can plainly see.
And I know my friends can plainly see.
Time has made a change in me.
Time has made a change in me. Time has made a change in the old home place. Time
Has made a change in the old home
Time has made a change in each smiling face.
Time has made a change in each smiling
And I know my friends can plainly see.
And I know my friends can plainly
Time has made a change in me.
see. Time has made a change in me. In my childhood days, I was young and strong.
I climbed the hillsides all day long. I'm going to start with a correct first verse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Time
That
has
means-
made a
yes.
change.
Time has made a change since my childhood days. Many of my friends have passed away. Some I never more in this world shall see. Time has made a change in me.
Time has made a change in the old home place. Smiling face.
Time has made a change in each smiling face. And I know my friends can plainly see. Time has made a change in me.
In my childhood days,
I was young and strong. I could climb the hillsides all day long. I am not today what I used to
each smiling face.
And I know my friends can
plainly see
time has made a change in me.
when I reach my home in that land somewhere.
Meet my friends who wait me over there. Free from pain and care, I will forever be. Time has made a change in me. Time has made a change in the old home place. Time has made a change in each smiling face. And I know my friends can plainly see. Time has made a change in me. What? I mean, I just have to say, you are going to say maybe, what a great song. We have loved this song for so many years, and it means, and it, you know, funny, when we started singing it, we had just gotten married a couple months before when we first sang it in 1978. And it had just as much meaning then as it does now, although it certainly kind of becomes more poignant. How many of you have sung that song before? Many of you? Yeah. So, well, just spread it around. Spread it around. It's public domain. Harkins Freye. Wonderful song. So we
Thank you.
go. Yeah.
Oh, Peter Mary Alice, I was just going to say it's so fun because as you got started, there was a question as to the lyrics. And so, like, as we're sitting here talking about music and memory and all of the rest of it, like, I don't know, you're maybe a slightly tiny bit older than me, but like remembering lyrics to songs is just not happening for me in the same way that it used to happen. And, but like when I start singing, then like it all clicks in. And I think that was part of what we were talking about during the sound check. So super excited to hear about your sort of journey with music and memory.
Mary Alice can sing a song 5 times and know all the lyrics, and I can sing it 50 times and not know the lyrics until I do my memorizing thing. So we have a big difference between how I mean, we can both memorize. We both certainly know a lot of songs, but also one time we heard a song once. There was this gospel singer sang it on the stage we were at the Clearwater Festival. And about 3 months later, it was, I'm gonna lift my mother up. Mary Alice started singing it like 2 or 3 months later. And our arrangement and the whole thing was from her memory of that song she had heard once 3 months before. So she's got this amazing machine in there, really just, I depend on her for that. It's kind of amazing. But I have to say, when we were gonna, I thought it would be fun to talk about what's our topic here, which is very dear to my heart, about memory, and just as long as I already mentioned, people with Alzheimer's, saw Bessie Jones in her last days, one of the great American singers of the 20th century, and a really, really wonderful source of traditional African American songs in the 19th century. Anyway, we saw her late, and she was the same thing as Richard Moss. She'd kind of go off on a tangent when she was talking, and her nephew, who was traveling with her, would kind of take care of her, pull her out, and get her singing in. But then her singing was just as beautiful as it ever was, So. That's so, and what you should do anything
Well,
else?
I think of people, loved ones. I'm sure you all have people in your lives, but we have a special friend who we've known since our children were little, around 40 years, who has gone to our church in Guilford that we've talked about here many times since we've gone there, and is now in a memory care unit. And her husband picks her up every Sunday, gets her there by 8:30 for choir. She knows every song, all the words, sings beautifully in tune, and it's just been an eye-opening and heart-opening moment for all of us in the church. I
even
think.
songs. This is what surprised us, that even songs that she's not sung before, she seems to be able to read and, I mean, pick up. It's music. If it's music, like she's right there, even with new songs.
She came to our Kathy Bullock
yeah.
Village Harmony concert last Sunday at our church and just sang everything that Kathy did.
Yeah.
She could just sing as if she'd sung it forever.
But
So-
I think it does. I'll do one of my memory stories is that when I was 62, 13 years ago, I read in a Time magazine article that that if you memorize Shakespeare sonnets, that's really good for your memory and for your aging brain and to keep it healthy and young. So I started memorizing Shakespeare sonnets, and then I just started and then it became a thing that I loved it. I still do it. I love to do it. I have about 126 sonnets and about 120 poems total that that I have memorized. And the way I do it is I'll memorize a poem, and then I go through each of the poems in sequence to make sure I still know them. And sometimes I have to relearn them a little bit. But it's and it's just that you actually and I'd like to take as much credit as I can for that. But the fact of the matter is all it takes to memorize is time. That's all it takes. I think anybody can do it. You just and it's really it's a great thing to do as you're getting older, I think.
That is awesome. So you and Patrick Stewart, eh? Because Patrick Stewart was doing a Shakespeare sonnet a day during the pandemic.
Oh, that's right. That's
They
right.
are so precious, and they're
Yeah.
all still out there and available. He is completely remarkable in every possible way, and really inspired a lot of people at that time. Just through both the Shakespeare stuff, but also just his normalizing the idea that we were in this space doing what we could do. So like sort of a little bit like what we did here. So Peter and Mary Alice, do you want to say anything more about sort of memory and the idea of your work in hospice? Because I know that also really plays in.
Could I start with a personal story and then Peter, you
Yeah,
tell?
please.
Just we had this amazing joy of singing for our neighbor who passed away just a couple of weeks ago, who lived in this neighborhood across the street since we moved in here when Sam was 40. He's now 41, so it's 41 years ago. And he just by the end was, didn't even knock on the door. He would come in, plop on the sofa, and he was an incredible friend. And we were so lucky that his daughter called us the day he was dying. He was unconscious, but we sang for a half hour by his bedside at the nursing home, and then he passed away that night. And I just think what a gift to us to have been honored to be there. And the two daughters stood out in the hallway and could hear us talking and reminiscing, and just knowing that hearing is the last thing to go. And it was just, I know music was a big part of him living across from us because there was always music around our house and on our porch. Anyway, that the hospice singing is a big part of our life.
And I'll say when we're singing we often are singing not just for people who are dying, but in memory care units and in nursing homes. And it's just really. I remember one time we were singing with a bunch of people in a assisted care place where a lot of them were our friends. At least this is where we want to move in. There was just and we knew quite a few of them, but some of them are different degrees of memory loss and different degrees of how sharp they were. But and it was and all of a sudden I just thought, why don't I just sing "Hush Little Baby"? It just came to my mind. Why don't I just sing that? And so we just started singing, "Hush little baby, don't say a word. Papa's gonna buy you a mockingbird." And everybody it just changed the energy of the room. This children's song, and it made me realize that those are really great songs to sing. When you're choosing songs for older people, children's songs are really great for a lot of reasons. One, especially if they're familiar children's songs.
That's right. So I'm gonna actually shout out. We opened up this week with Cheryl Tay. She's a choir director in Malaysia, and she was our Monday song leader coming in from Malaysia and singing songs. She sang one in Malay, but she sang others in English, and they are a lot of them English. Like traditional folk children's songs. So she did a little "On Top of Spaghetti," "When You're Happy When You Know It." So not actually traditional,
Right.
sort of in the children's music, scene that we were all singing when we were young, and potentially, I don't know, maybe even like folks that were much, much older than us were singing when they were young. And so there is something she has found about the idea of going back to those songs of childhood. Because people connect with them, and it does, I think, much to lift the spirits and to reconnect us with versions of our old selves. And the whole idea that you guys were talking about the differences in the way you memorize or the way you remember, it's so fascinating. And so one of the things I do want to do is shout out those links in the chat again, because there is so much brain science research going on right now, and it's new every day. We threw a link in the chat today for an article on Tony Bennett, who has been struggling with memory, and in fact Juan Diaz mentioned it yesterday. So we've got an article in there that AARP has posted about his journey, and there's a ton you can read about it. It's super fascinating stuff. Peter, Mary Alice, we'd love to sing with you again. Do you want to share anything else out? Did we miss saying anything before we sing?
I think that's good. I have to say I've got really great some of my great memories of our singing with my dad when I was young. Oh, you can't get to heaven. Oh, you can't get to heaven in Shell's old truck. In Shell's old truck, 'cause Shell's old truck, 'cause Shell's old truck. We'll probably get stuck. We'll probably get stuck. Oh, you can't get to heaven in Shell's old truck. It was just like, yeah, you are my sunshine. All of those kinds of songs. And it was just that was my dad was a great singing leader, even though it wasn't in the level that we do it, but it was yeah. So that's my memory. Here's a song about
Beautiful.
remembering that we'd like to sing. It's called "Try to Remember." Words by Tom Jones, music by Harvey Schmidt from the
Musical
from
play,
the
Fantastics.
Fantastics. And I
Sure,
know
a lot of you
I
know
know a
this.
lot of you know this, but I think what we'll do is there's not a chorus in this, except at the end it says follow, which you don't even need to practice. So, but I thought what we do is we'll just have Mary Alice sing the first verse, and then we'll start over with the first verse again, and you can join in. And I think a lot of you know this melody already, but if you don't, we'll give you that chance. So we'll sing the first verse twice.
Okay.
Here you go. Try to remember. Here we go.
Try to remember the kind of September when life was slow and oh so mellow. Try to remember the kind of September when grass was green and grain so yellow. Try to remember the kind of September when you were a young and callow fellow. Try to remember, and if you remember, then follow.
Everybody, first verse.
Try to remember the kind of September when
life
was slow and oh so mellow. Try to remember the kind of September when grass was green and grain so yellow. Try to remember the kind of September when you were a young and callow fellow. Try to remember, and if you remember, then follow.
Second verse.
Try to remember when life was so tender that no one wept except the willow. Try to remember when life was so tender that dreams were kept beside your pillow. Try to remember when life was so tender that love was an ember about to billow. Try to remember, and if you remember,
then follow. Then follow.
Deep in December, it's nice to remember, although you know the snow will follow. Deep in December, it's nice to remember without a hurt. The heart is hollow. Deep in December, it's nice to remember the fire of September that made you mellow. Deep in December, our hearts should remember, then follow.
Then follow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, Alice. Yeah, okay. There were a lot of emotions in the room. I saw a lot of teary eyes and I saw a lot of people kind of drifting into a little zone. Can we all please shout out Peter and Mary Alice Amidon for bringing us just two beautiful songs and their beautiful presences. Now let's shout out Peter Mary Alice Amidon's mommy and daddy, both of them, because, well, all four of them, I mean, because they made these fabulous two humans that we get to spend time with in this
Time.
room. Lucky,
Thank
lucky
you.
us.
We do.
Thanks,
Thank
gang.
you.
So can you just quickly tell us what the link is that we have in the chat about your concert in June 2024?
That was a concert. It was a Guilford Community Church a concert series, and we decided to do it of our arrangements because we've been doing so many in the Guilford Church. And so that's where there's a small group called West Willow, which is a group of wonderful younger singers. I'm talking in their 40s and 30s.
And
who-
Fred Brunick, who's here
Yes. And Fred Brunick, who's not in his 40s and 30s, but Stefan and Zara and other folks you probably know. That's a group that records my arrangements. So they did a set, and then the other set was the Guilford Church with them, and it was a wonderful evening. We had it at the Brattleboro Music Center, and it was just. It was just a great evening. So there's links to the whole concert, but there's also links to each individual song, and that's so catch that, yeah.
and you can hear our grandson Desi.
Oh,
and
yes.
his
And
friend Leo singing.
Desmond has
solos.
a solo in a couple of them.
Big moments.
His 8-year-old grandson, 9-year-old. Yeah.
Beautiful. So I think Desi soloed in here on a voting song maybe several years earlier than being 8 years old. So yeah.
We've got to put that up again, I realize. We've got to get that out again because it's
Yeah,
time.
it's just about time.
Time.
It's time.
So yeah, dust it up because we're ready for it. Can we all please thank Peter Mary Alice Amidon? Beautiful day. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you. You all look beautiful.
Thank you. It was really beautiful to watch everybody sing with you. Can we also shout out Carpe Diem Arts? Thanks, Carpe Diem, for keeping us going. Can we shout out AARP and all that fabulous work they're doing? Woohoo! Thanks, AARP, for all that fabulous work. We're really enjoying getting to go on your memory and music brain tour. And don't forget, there's a link in the chat that expires at the end of the week. So if you can click on that and do their cool activities, it's really quite fun. So we're going to say thank you and congratulations to Mary coming in from Greenfield, who just tacked for the first time. Thank you, Mary. It was fabulous. And we'll say goodbye to everybody out there on Facebook. Thanks, gang. Great to have you. And on YouTube. Thanks, gang. And let's say goodbye to everybody in the room. Pauline and Dad. Hi, William. Coming in from Newcastle. Thanks for being here today. Arlene in California. Dawn and Curly Tops. Karen in Brattleboro. Oh, it's Karen Axelrod. Hey, Karen. Nice to have you in the room. Karen's another fabulous musician who hopefully you'll see in here at some point. Tootling along with us. Susan in Cincinnati, Tom, Carpe Diem Arts Board of Directors, great to have you. Athena in Brooklyn, Carolyn in Boise, Idaho, Branding Art, thank you so much, I love it. AARP card, yeah, okay, so many of us, right? Luda in British Columbia, Fran coming in from DC, glad to have you back in here again. Sue in Seattle, so that's actually Susan Miller in Seattle. We had two Susan Millers in the room today, just saying. Marcy, thanks for being with us today from Northampton, glad you joined. Cricket in Maryland. Julie in Ontario, Canada. I'm going to do a quick shout out to anybody who's new today. If you want to stay after everyone drops, I'll unmute you. We can say hello. I can learn how you found out about us and tell you what else we do besides this noontime singing thing every day, which is pretty a lot of stuff right there. Deborah in Kentucky, Gary in Massachusetts. Did I say Mabel, Bob, and the Bears? Bye-bye and bye to all the Bears. Jan, thanks for joining us today. Nice to see you. I think you're new. Bob in Albany, Bonnie in Boise, Carolyn in DC, Caroline in DC, Priscilla, that's Grandma Pat over there from the Curly Tops. Pat, nice to have you with us again today. Jane in Texas, glad to have you here. Annette in California, Linda on Orcas Island, Sheila in Florida, Susan in Tacoma Park, Benet in Berkeley, California, Dan in Vienna, Virginia, Jamie in Victoria, Dally in Maryland, Fred in Maryland, Aloysius in Mass, Linda in Concord, Mass, Louise in Devon, UK, glad you made it. Hi, Joseph, thanks for being with us today. Anne, thank you for being with us today, maybe new. Linda, thank you so much. Carolyn in Phoenix, thank you so much for being here. Lynn in Connecticut, Kat in Vermont, Hoda in British Columbia, Margaret, Dick and Kathy, thanks for being with us for another great singing day. Harriet in Chicago, Storm in Mass, Elizabeth in California, and some phones. Bye-bye phones. Thanks, everybody. See you all tomorrow right here in the Daily.